Hey everybody, it's me again. I just wanted to see if I can keep this up. Um, don't mind the neighbor's music. Um, he's outside literally every day working on something new. Um, Today, I want to talk about our differences and possibly like a way to mend those differences because these are the same differences that are being used in order to divide us and not make us see who the real people that are screwing us over are. I saw a post the other day, and it was a post from Twitter, and it was this girl who was saying that her daughter is an essential worker and that she's terrified for her life, you know? And a person replied saying that, oh no, your daughter's a hero. And the first person replied, like, no, she's not a fucking hero. She's a slave. She's a slave to capitalism. Like, and in the end, that's what we all are. We're all just slaves to capitalism. Think about it this way. Uh, Small businesses, um, growing enterprises, entrepreneurs, everything. What's the one thing that they all have in common? Cream. Cash rules everything around. Well, the actual saying is me, but cream, as in cash rules everything around them. That's the type of nation we live in, and people are willing to kill. People are willing to steal. People are willing to lie for some paper that has no intrinsic value. The only value it has is what we place upon it. Now tell me this, is a piece of paper worth more than a human life? I feel like we as a society lost our way once we started overindulging ourselves um, with anything really. Food, drugs, alcohol. I'm not I'm not gonna sit here and be one to lecture you on what's good and what's bad. I mean, and I've done a lot of pills back in my day. I've done a lot of underage drinking, so I'm not one to judge, but people do change. The thing is that the thing that saddens me the most is that I was on the right track. I really was. I had landed a secure job with people that liked me. People saw that I was a hard worker, and I was making bank, you know? But then this whole thing happened, and just like that, they brushed me off. And it's it's taken a toll on my psyche, just because now this is the first time I had to ever apply for unemployment benefits, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And to be honest, um, I read an article that said that this shit could last up to 18 months. Can you imagine living like this for 18 months? I mean, I've been in solitary confinement for 1 month, but I cannot imagine how it would be like for 18. It's just it's just so weird how in the midst of a crisis we lose our humanity and we go back to our carnal animalistic instinct. What happened to the community that we tried so desperately to build to separate us from the apes? It's all gone. Like, it's a free for all now. It is a free for all. And once again, sorry for all the pauses, and then it's just right now this is all coming off the dome, you know. I'm just speaking what comes to my mind, kind of like a video diary kind of thing. Except I want people to listen to it. I want people to maybe learn at least one thing, and even if that one thing is that I have a neon green bong, oh well. Guys, we need to take better care of ourselves. You know that, like, during this whole self-quarantine, the earth has been cleaning itself up. Yeah. Pollution rates in Beijing and other populated areas have been dropping. And in LA, I don't know if this was photoshopped or not, but there was a 3 stills of LA, and one of them was before where it looked like smog, and then in the middle of it where it looked a tiny bit clearer, and then now where like you can actually see a blue sky in LA. And I've never left Texas, so I can't say that I've seen it personally, but just the picture of it itself, it blew my mind to think that we are these little insignificant little parasites on Mother Earth, and yet we cause so much fucking damage. Like, I'm pretty sure if animals could talk, they would tell us that we're the plague and we need to choke on our own plastic before they do. We lived in a messed up world, man. We do. We really do. You know, like, we have people, you know, there are people out there that believe that the whole coronavirus is some sort of conspiracy theory, that it was made as a biological weapon. It's some lab in South Carolina. And then they sent it to Wuhan. And then it got released from there. I just want to know, like, what would the purpose be? Key bono, who benefits? I mean, obviously the world isn't benefiting. The elites are benefiting. Boris Johnson is in ICU right now. most of the world's richest people are fucking dying because they're old. Oh my god, you guys, sometimes your theories, like, uh, it's cringy, but it's hilarious at the same. Okay, like, they deduced that JFK Jr. is still alive. Wait, is it JFK Jr. or Robert F. Kennedy? I don't know. But one of the Kennedys is still alive, and he's part of this whole conspiracy group called Q. And one day he's gonna reveal himself, and he's gonna. I have no fucking idea what the significance of him revealing himself is, but these people also believe that Donald Trump is on an international manhunt for um, pedophilia rings. And yeah, like, no, who the fuck likes pedophilia rings? You know, I could say that I'm going out on a manhunt for every single pedophilia ring, and at least 3 people that I'm telling this to would be like, oh, okay, that's good for him. But can we really trust the guy who had 70 shindigs with this guy in his mansion? Can we really trust the guy who says, just grab him by the pussy? You know? Can we really trust that guy? I mean, this guy has fantasies about having sex with his own daughter. How is that not a red flag for you? I'm pretty sure incest was something that was that was not condoned in the Bible. Now that I'm done talking about this set of people, let's talk about this set of people. All right. So recently, AOC has been getting a lot of backlash because it appears that she has been cobbling up with the Democratic elite, such as Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, and she held her endorsement from Bernie Sanders until so long into the race, and I can't remember the other things that they're mad at her for at the moment, but everybody is talking about how she is moving from being economic populist to, or a democratic socialist, whatever you want to call it, to a run-of-the-mill senator. And I have my problems with that, but I also understand why. I mean, if you look back at the history of Elizabeth Warren, like, she ran for Senate. I think it was Senate. Congress or Senate, I don't remember. But they told her no. And so she ran again, got elected, and she came up with this idea. Hey, instead of letting the banks defraud millions and millions and millions of people, let's set up a bureau in order to keep an eye on those banks. They said no, because they don't want oversight. So Elizabeth Warren then ran for the chair of said committee. and she won the vote. So they tried not getting her as a senator, they tried not getting her as a congressman, but they got her as the person who oversees the banks, you know. And I thought that was genius, because if you can't get a position in one place of power and another place of power or of accountability, um, you just keep on trying to find ways if you're really that passionate about holding people to account. My problem with Warren begins when, and I'm pretty sure this isn't like some sort of purity test or anything, but I think people spend too much time in Washington D.C. and they get trapped inside this bubble, and they don't know what it's like out there in the rest of the world. I mean, you ask Donald Trump, you ask any senator, oh, how's the stock market doing? They're going to tell you it's doing fantastic. They're going to tell you, oh, okay, well, maybe not in this particular moment. It's going down, but the stock market is not an indicator of how people are doing. It's like that one joke Jon Stewart said, you know, um, checking the economy by checking the stock market is like checking on a sick man by looking at the leeches that he has on him. You know, ooh, the leeches look fine, so you should be fine. um, you know, I know that there's a term for it. I think it's called moral objectivity, or I could be wrong, but it's basically when both sides are right, both sides are wrong. And that's what we have here in this situation. So instead of just arguing and bickering about who's right, who's wrong, who has the better ideas, what are we going to do after all of this is done? We all need to get together as a not as a community, but as an entire civilization. Just get together and figure out what we can do best to avoid another situation like this, because if this hasn't opened your eyes, then I don't even think a meteor come hurling towards Earth would open your eyes. And if you feel like that's insulting your intelligence, then I'm sorry. Maybe pick up a book and read every once in a while. Or at least read an internet blog or something. And I don't mean to be insulting, but yes, I do know for a fact you have not read a book within the last 5 months. And let's see, I'm 18 minutes. 18 minutes. Like, I'm not gonna start a tangent about 18 minutes either way. I just I don't get it. I don't get the way people work. I don't get the way people work. If we all have the same set of goals, just different ways of achieving it, why not incorporate those different ways? There's so many people that fear the prospect of one world government, one world civilization, because they've been watching too many movies, man. Like, do you honestly think that if the world's elite tried to systematically enslave every single person on planet Earth, there would not be 1,000,001 resistance groups. Groups with doctors and engineers and ex-marines and ex-mercenaries and everything like that. Oh my god, you guys, your theories fall apart so fast. It's so I mean, it's fun dismantling them, but you guys gotta get more creative. Especially at the epoch times or epic times, whatever the fuck they want to call themselves. These guys pretend to be, not pretend, they are a print newspaper outlet, and um, they do lean heavily right. They are pushers of such conspiracy theories as Spygate and Pizzagate and Russiagate. Well, Russiagate as in Russiagate being a hoax and Pizzagate being a hoax, and I don't need to get into detail, but the, the Epoch Times is actually owned by I forgot what his name is, but he is a man of Oriental descent. I don't know if he's Asian, if he's Chinese, Japanese, what, but he is Oriental, and he is actually, if I'm not mistaken, wanted by Interpol. I could be thinking of somebody else, but he's either wanted by Interpol or he was the head of this cult here, this gun-toting cult in America called the Moonies. Now, I could be getting two different people mixed up, so don't quote me on this. Do some research. But oh man, I forgot where this train of thought was going. But basically, we all need to put our heads in the same game. We all need to figure this out together. We can't be fighting anymore. We can fight later. Believe me, we can fight later. We can fight all we want later. But right now is not the time. Right now is the time to get together and figure this out.